This presentation looks at guaranteed minimum prices, one of the other price stabilization schemes in operation with respect to agricultural commodities. A guaranteed minimum price is not a buffer stock scheme. In this system, the government guarantees to the producers of commodities that the price they will receive, either on the market or from the government, will be a guaranteed minimum, that there will be a guaranteed minimum price, let's say at P0. This guarantee has an effect when the supply curve is shifted to the right because of very good weather, leading to the price on the market falling to below the guaranteed minimum, let's say falling to P1. At this point, the government, which has guaranteed a minimum price, is obliged to buy up the excess supply produced by the farmers. The excess supply is given by this distance here, which is labeled X, and the government is obliged to buy up this excess supply at the guaranteed minimum price of P0. So the amount of money spent by the government to fulfill its guarantee is given by this rectangle here. So this is money which is spent by the government on ensuring that farmers receive the guaranteed minimum price, even when the market price falls below this. So when the government actually buys this amount of agricultural commodity, unlike with a buffer stock scheme, it doesn't store it in order to resupply it to the market later on. What this leads to is called dumping. Once the government has purchased this excess food from its own farmers, it has absolutely nothing that it can do with it. And so it ends up selling this food to other markets in other countries at less than the cost of production, just to get rid of it. And this is what we call dumping. Dumping is the selling of any product at a rate which is far less than the cost of production in order to get rid of it. And this has a very serious impact on the agricultural industries of other nations, because the flood of cheap food from countries that practice guaranteed minimum price schemes leads to the destruction of other nations' farming industry. Often these nations are third world or emerging nations, and this is a very serious problem because their farmers cannot, of course, compete with the flood of cheap, virtually free food that is being dumped on their markets by these countries that practice guaranteed minimum price schemes. So where does this happen at the moment? Well, right now, the countries of the European Union do practice guaranteed minimum price schemes, and when they buy stocks of food, they then proceed to dump this food onto third world nations, such as the nations of Africa. So this is what's happening at the moment. Because the European Union practices a guaranteed minimum price system, there is a lot of dumping of food into Africa from the EU, and this is causing a very serious problem to the agricultural markets and industries of emerging nations such as Africa.